A $100 shirt can cost less than $10 to make. And that extra $90? You're not paying for quality, you're paying for the logo. Most of these brands aren't premium, they're just overpriced. So in this video, I'll break down 5 brands you should avoid, and 5 that are actually worth your money. Let's start with the brands you should avoid. Number 5. Tommy Hilfiger. Tommy Hilfiger is one of those brands that still lives off its reputation from decades ago. Back in the 90s, it actually stood for something. Today, it's a completely different story. Most of their shirts fall somewhere between $60 and $100. And at that price, you'd expect solid fabric, good structure, something that holds up over time. But when you actually look at what you're getting, it's usually pretty standard stuff. Basic cotton blends, mass-produced. Nothing special in terms of construction. And the problem isn't that it's bad. It's that it's priced like it's better than it is. There's no real transparency about the fabric, no standout materials, no reason it should cost that much. What you're really paying for is the flag logo and the idea of what the brand used to be. And that's the pattern you're going to see a lot in this video. Number 4. Calvin Klein. Now Calvin Klein is interesting because it feels like a step up. Cleaner branding, more minimal look, slightly more premium perception. But behind the scenes, it's not that different from Tommy Hilfiger. They're owned by the same parent company, often produced in the same factories, using very similar materials. Yet somehow the price jumps into that $100 to $150 range for basic items. So what's actually changing? Not the fabric, not the construction, just the branding and positioning. You're paying more for the name, not for a better product. And once you realize that, it's hard to justify the price. Number 3. Armani Exchange. This one catches a lot of people because the name Armani carries weight. People hear it and think luxury, high-end, premium craftsmanship. But Armani Exchange isn't that. It's the entry-level line, designed to look like luxury, but built for mass production. You'll still see $60, $80, sometimes even $100 for basic pieces. But the materials? Usually standard, sometimes even synthetic blends. And there's nothing inherently wrong with that, except the price is telling a completely different story. It's positioned to feel premium, without actually delivering premium quality. So what you end up buying isn't a luxury product, it's a branded version of something you could get elsewhere for half the price. Number 2. Michael Kors. Michael Kors is built on the idea of accessible luxury. And visually, it does a great job. Clean designs, recognizable logos, looks expensive at first glance. But once you start paying attention to the materials, things change. A lot of their products, especially accessories, use lower-grade materials. Things like bonded leather, which is basically leftover leather fibers pressed together. It looks good in the beginning, but over time it cracks, peels, and wears out much faster than real leather. And yet, you're still paying $80, $100, sometimes more. So you're not buying something that lasts, you're buying something that looks premium temporarily. And that's a big difference. Number 1. Hugo Boss. Hugo Boss sits right in that space where people expect real quality. It's priced like a premium brand, it's marketed like a premium brand, but the actual product doesn't always match that expectation. Here you'll see shirts going for $100, $120, even higher. But when you wear them, a lot of them feel average, lighter fabrics, less structure, nothing that really stands out compared to brands that cost half as much. And that's the issue. At that price, you're expecting something noticeably better, but instead you're getting something that relies more on branding than actual construction. So again, you're not really paying for superior quality. You're paying for the perception of it. Now, not every brand is overpriced. Some actually deliver real quality for the price. Here are the ones worth your money. Number 5. Uniqlo is probably the easiest example of what good value looks like. Simple designs, no heavy branding, nothing flashy. But when you actually look at the materials, especially in their basics, they're using things like Supima cotton, which is softer, stronger, and holds up better over time. And the prices, usually around $20 to $30 for a t-shirt. That's a fraction of what some of the other brands are charging for something that's often just as good, if not better. You're paying for the product, not the marketing behind it. Number 4. Charles Tyrwhitt. If you're looking for dress shirts, this is where things get interesting. Charles Tyrwhitt focuses heavily on transparency. They actually tell you what the shirt is made from. Things like 100% cotton, thread count, fabric type. That's something most brands don't bother explaining. And because they sell directly to customers, they cut out a lot of the retail markup. So instead of paying $150 for a shirt with vague quality claims, you're getting something clearly defined, often for less. It's a much more honest way of pricing clothing. Number 3. Gustin. Gustin does something completely different. They don't mass-produce clothing and hope it sells. Instead, they make products based on demand. So they launch a design, people pre-order it, and only then do they produce it. That means no leftover inventory, no wasted stock, and way less need for heavy markups. On top of that, they use high-quality materials, like Japanese denim and well-sourced fabrics. So you're getting premium-level materials without paying inflated retail prices. Number 2, proper cloth. Proper cloth takes a different approach, custom fit. Instead of buying standard sizes, your measurements are used to create something specifically for you, and the construction is actually solid. Clean stitching, durable seams, and detailed information about fabrics, so you know exactly what you're getting. Prices can range higher, but here it actually makes sense, because you're paying for fit materials, craftsmanship, not just a brand name. Number 1, suit supply. This is probably the strongest example of real value in this space. Suit Supply is very clear about what they're offering. They tell you exactly how their garments are constructed, whether it's half canvas, full canvas, what materials are used. That level of transparency is rare, and even though their prices aren't cheap, they're significantly lower than traditional luxury brands offering similar construction. So instead of paying double for a logo, you're paying for actual craftsmanship. And that's the difference. At the end of the day, price doesn't equal quality. Some brands charge more because they're better, but a lot of them charge more because they can. So instead of focusing on the name, start paying attention to the details, the fabric, the construction, where it's made. That's what actually tells you if something is worth it. If you want more breakdowns like this, hit subscribe and let me know in the comments which brand surprised you the most, because once you start looking at clothes this way, you'll never shop the same again.